Hello guys, how are you? Welcome to our channel. We explain everything that you need to rich quick schemes to the all purpose pensions, gains and many more. First of all, like my video and subscribe my channel for more informative videos. So today our topic, how the rich borrow against assets instead, the selling them, buy, borrow, die. How to reach avoid taxes? We can explain everything that you need. So, investments bills are filed, but taxes on the capital gains can take a big out of your earning. So, following a it's buy, borrow, die strategy is one of the way to minimize your taxes and your liability in the presence more than to the wealth development or Professor Awards and his MC Cafe in 1990. The buy, borrow, die explains how people get rich and stayed at the way nearly 30 years later the terms has resurfaced aimed decisions of tax inequality and inequality and what regular people can do to reduce their tax burdens. So what is buy, borrow, die? Buy, borrow, die is the concept that attempts to explain how whether people can hold and on their wealth in the minimize for what they pay in taxes, and the theory holds that rich people are not gaming the tax system with the loophole or the fraudulent practice. Instead, they are limiting what they have to pay in tax through strategic investments and planning. So it's called by borrow by word because these are the component. So it's a component of how the strategy works and develop the concepts. It's very easy to understand that compared to the leverage American and you're managing your investments and your overwhelming. So we recommended the speaking with financial advisors. That this tool will will match you will varied in advisors and who serve your area and. You want to understand it and you think about it, what's the main thing. So next we have the financial advisors. So the financial advisors is very easy to understand and it's very easy. You can use the find match or tools match. You will be verified your advisors who can help you on the path towards achieving your financial goals. If only takes a few minutes, check out the advisor's profile. Have a introductory call on the phone or introduction to the person and choose who to work with. So I think so you understand what I think say and everything. So how does a buy borrow die strategy work? So it's work like a pretty straightforward strategy. Once you understand what each of three steps stands for, let's take a look at each piece of the strategy to better understand what happens along the way. Step 1, buy. The buy part is what it sound like. You use part of the wealth to purchase approaching assets, appreciating assets includes things like stock, real estate, artwork, and your fine and many more. So it's very easy to think about it. So next you can see the goal is to capitalize and increase the value. Those assets will realize over time and your real estate for the example tends to go up in the value year over year, unlike vehicles and other forms of the real property. Warming is the property can be clause be ahead against the using inflation or assess to increase the volatility in the stock market and moreover buying real estates can lead to tax breaks if you are able to write off the depreciations. You can also generate income if you own rental property that you lease out seasonally or on a through time basis. So identity, you buy assets that will grow in value in a tax different deferred basics and the yield. Passive income. Passive income is money that you don't have to work to earn. So dividends earned from the stock. From example, for the another word, a form of passive incomes is the income tax calculators in front of your screens. You can see find a financial advisor and your calculator. So household income, location, filling status. Your deduction is the deduction type is the important to the calculated. So if you can find for a financial advisor, so your total income taxes above last year's and federal income, so next your state taxes and local taxes in front of you. So next we have number 2, borrow. The borrow pass, once you have the borrow appreciating assets, the next steps to borrow against them. In other words, you can see there's assets as a collateral for loans. So why would you do that? According to the buy borrow strategy, leveraging the assets as the collateral allows you to borrow money while preserving the value of the underlying assets rather than selling off investments. So it's very easy to work. So you can see next we have the leverage things. It's taking out of the loan of the retirement account, on the other hand, can drain your health, potentially results in tax hits. When you are take out the 401k, for example, you are borrowing from yourself, but any money you take out is not growing at tax deferred basis, that can short change your wealth building strategy in a long run. There's an added risk in that if you are unable to pay the loan, the IRS treats the entire amount as a taxable distribution. Next, number 3, die. Thinking about that is not the plan, but wealthy people understand the importance of the estate's planning. And when people happens to assess when you pass away, minimize estate tax is often our top priority, as doing so can help you to leave behind move of your wealth for your loved ones in a buy strategy, and the individuals to who inherited your estates can use some of the assets you have passed on the pay outstanding loans. That allows them to avoid having to sell that do stepped out of their own pockets. So additionally, your heirs benefits from a step by in the cost basis of those assets once they receive them. The step ups allows them to avoid any capital gains tax tax due to on the sales of the assets, and the meaning inheritance, and the other option is for them the hold on the assets and not sell them, and should they decide to go that route, they can continue implementing a buy strategy for themselves and the next generation of heirs. It's very easy. So it's really very quick and explain it. The main flaw with the buy borrow die approach is that it reduces a certain amount of money to take advantage of it, and someone whose net worth in the 4 or 5 finger range, for instance, may not have sufficient means to buy appreciating assets. That may not be an issue for someone with a net worth of $1 million or more. So in other words, it takes wealth to create wealth using a buy strategy, which is not realistic for most people. If you own a home and you might already have appreciating assets to start them, but our only option to borrowing against it may be limited, and it may be limited to the home inequality loans on the line of the credit using a home equality, and your limited ability in home equality loan on the credit using a home equality. We can explain it everything. So where did this strategy come from? So N.C. Cartwright, a law professor that you know in the universities, and is a Southern Californian that came for the taxes, and he noted that the two things, the government. So next you can see is the other tips for the avoiding tax from your investment portfolio and many more. So I hope you understand. Thanks for watching this video. Like my video and subscribe my channel for more informative videos. Goodbye.